I always like to hit the button. Where have I hit a button Where to begin?
I mean, what do you think? We could talk about like the controls and the gameplay, and maybe what it's like co-oping. What comes out of that? It always reminded me of like a twin stick shooter is the best way to describe it, because
Kind of. Except the
run and
only
gun.
difference is you have to hit a button.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas most twin sticks, it just fires whenever you're pointing in direction. It's like
Yeah.
your aim is with the second stick, but then you also still have to hit a button to fire.
Yeah. And
although PC, it's different. Like the second stick is the mouse, but
Yeah.
Right.
By far, the PC is the best way to play this game because you can. It's a very quick pace for trying to get, especially when there's a ton of them trying to swarm you, and you got a lot of things to shoot it like quickly, and you need to aim precisely or just fast. The mouse is way better at doing that than thumbsticks, but the console controls still work pretty well. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I played it on a PC with a controller and a mouse, and I definitely agree mouse is the way to play. But controller's not terrible. It's at least an option.
Yeah, but I mean, even just playing it, I play it handheld on Switch and stuff, and it plays pretty well there too. It's not like it's bad anywhere else. It's just that
cramping.
Keyboard and mouse was the best for me for like what it felt like for having to shoot a ton of things at once without getting overwhelmed.
And the controls are nice and responsive and tight too.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Even with I played it on Switch co-op with a buddy a couple nights ago, and he hasn't really played much of the Switch, but he still had a good time. So that's important to say that you can anybody can pick up and play it. But you got to have the skills to master it, as I know, because I can't get that far in the game.
Yeah, it is very tough by yourself. It really is. Now, when you played with your buddy, did you use a Pro controller and they just used the Joy-Cons, or did you use two Joy-Cons?
Well, let's see. So my friend hasn't played the Switch, so I gave him the Pro controller, and I went with the Joy-Con grip. And the Pro controller is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, but I mean, Pro controller or the controller grip works just fine. What I was wondering is, did you try to use two Joy-Cons sideways like a controller? Yeah.
I did not try that. I could, but yeah, it's fine with the Joy-Cons. I mean, I don't really like it in handheld mode, and that's just my personal preference because the way I don't know my hands don't really.
It's a little different in handheld. At first, you feel like a little awkward, but after a minute or two, about fine.
It's still fun.
I haven't played it on the screen though with a controller.
I haven't either. I've only played it
up on the 50-inch TV. Boom, look nice.
Yeah. I've only played it in handheld.
There was no no weird tearing or like any sort of lag with input or anything like that. So it's very responsive. So
yeah, but I went back. I played some more on PC as well, just so I'd have it fresh in my head for us talking.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I didn't get a chance to do it. Maybe I bet there's a guy in town that buys a lot of stuff on Wii U, and I bet he has it. I should give it a shot on the Wii U just to see what it feels like.
I'm sure it feels fine, especially with the Pro controller on it. I figured the big wide
gamepad.
The gamepad would probably be a little weird for that one. I can't imagine being super hectic. It was kind of, playing Bayonetta with the gamepad was interesting because you have a lot of boop, 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 and on that gamepad being so big, it was like, so anything. Yeah, I just tried it just to see what it was like, and then I immediately went, nope, let me pull out the Pro Pad and go, it felt a whole lot better. I could see Hive Jump being the same way too, because
anything that's like super fast, like action type of a game on that big Wii. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
it's not the best way.
No, I mean.
Mario Kart was fine, and games like that.
Not to rag on the Wii U. Go with one of the other systems that's got the RAM and the guts to really make the most of it. So
yeah, but the one thing that gameplay-wise that you can do on PC that you can't do on Xbox or Switch is online. You can't do the online co-op, which kind of stinks. It would be kind of fun to play, especially with Xbox Live, and it would be fun to be able to play that online. We assumed it was online until we actually got to try it that one night and went, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even looked at the features of the store page, and it's like, oh wait, it's not there. There's no find a match button.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe that's something they'll add in the future. I don't know.
It could be. It's certainly something that if you had to get it out and it would take a long time to implement that, I could see why you would cut it.
Yeah.
as a tiny studio, it'd just be like, well, we would like to get our game out, period.
Right, yeah. And it's half the price
Yeah.
on, Xbox and Switch than it is on PC too, so which I don't know, that's you'd think it would be almost the same price now because it's been out on PC for how long? 2 years?
Maybe.
Well, if you got the Kickstarter, you got in early, so it's been, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, so
at least 2.
I was surprised to see it still $20 when everybody else was. Yeah, the other two were $9.99. I don't know what it is on Wii U. It may be $20 on Wii U. I didn't even.
Don't know.
I didn't even bother to look it up on Wii U to see how much it was.
Well, I did recently review it, and I think I mentioned the prices.
Yeah, so I didn't even look because I was like, well, the amount of people that's probably playing it on Wii U is not going to really care how much it is. They'll buy it.
Well, it is cool that it's there. I mean,
yeah, I'm not dogging that.
Game.
It's that because it's not there at all. I'm not saying that. It's just.
I mean, so what do you think of the graphics of the game? It's more. I like the whole 18-bit, 16-bit sort of like pixel retro theme. That really calls to me.
Yeah, I like that too.
It looks really nice. The only thing that I wish is it looks way better after the first levels. Because you always got that same kind of tile set when you're in the first one.
Same sort of colors.
But the way it really shines is when you're in like a lava or ice level and it's dark so that your gun lights things up. And that's when you're like, oh, okay, this is a little bit better than what could run on like a Super Nintendo back in the day. It's not just the art style. They're doing some
cool you're not limited to the color palette.
Yeah, I agree. I always like the 8-bit, 16-bit graphics on games anyway, especially nowadays in HD and widescreen. It looks really... those colors really pop.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also different because you have the anti-alias, and whatever on there, so it's all smooth now. Whereas if you go back and play something that's from that age, it's very jagged. This is just the way the art was.
Right. It's $15 on the Wii U.
Oh, okay. Still good price. So it's $15. Yeah, it's still a good price. I mean, $20 is a good price to me. I'm happy to pay $20 for it.
It's just with Steam, there's so many more options, so it's going to get lost a bit more there.
It's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Hopefully it gets more visibility on Switch and Xbox,
especially like on...
come out.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, like, there's... I mean... I'm sure I could go through the Switch's eShop and find stuff that are similar, but I'm sure it's in there, at least for that style of games. It's definitely unique.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to think of a game to recommend, that would be like, and it's kind of... I don't know, it's kind of such a mix of all kinds of games.
Yeah, it has a little bit of roguelike type stuff, or roguelite, either one in there, where you're doing, it's based on runs, you get as far as you can, and you come back out, you have some currency that you can then spend on some things, and then you go back and jump into one. It's got a little bit of kind of the meta game from an XCOM, where you have like the map, and you have your little bases, and you're like spending money to upgrade those bases, and then you end your turn, and then they can attack it. It's got a little bit there, and then now you can jump in and go to the main game proper where you're shooting bugs again. Yeah. So like campaign mode is a little mix of both of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing that is exactly like, which is good, but it's also kind of a little... Most of what you're doing is you're going and shooting a bunch of bug alien things until they fall apart. Yeah. With whatever weaponry that you choose. And there's quite a few different guns in the game, too.
Yeah, there's tons of guns.
Gear and grenades and all of that.
Yeah. And, it's kind of feels... What's the the guys kind of have a Halo feel to them. I mean, they're little pixels, so they don't look like. I can't say that they are but they have that Halo feel to them of the way the uniforms look with the helmets and the masks.
Maybe it's just more like Space Marine, but if you get to the other skins, one look more like a. It's like this or that, but they're all pixelated, so there's not that much detail for sure.
And you can customize them, different colors, different sort of emblems. That's pretty cool. That is helpful when you're playing co-op and your friend and you both pick green, but one of you has a different emblem. You're like, yes.
Quick tip: do not pick a color that is the same color as like bugs or any of the glowing things.
So orange,
then it makes it
orange or yellow,
purple. Yeah, you get very confused and
I really like the upgrade. I like the upgrade system too. I don't know if you guys played around that, like upgrading your weapons, unlocking new weapons, or like secondary, like the grenades.
If you're playing by yourself, get the overshield because that helps you stay alive longer.
Yep.
Oh,
and then get. I still play with the main default cannon that you start with. It's the rapid fire gun, fully upgraded. It has explosive damage on it too. So
I tried a couple different guns just to tinker with it. I tried the missiles. Yeah. The missiles are interesting, but they're really, really slow. So, and then there's like, I think it's the Tesla gun. It shoots these lightning orbs that bounce around the screen, and that's kind of cool. It's low damage, but you can fill the screen with them a lot. And so
there's some cool weapons, but for by yourself, you want ones that can dish out the damage quickly.
What do you go for? What's your choice of bomb? I like the sticky bombs. Those are pretty useful.
Sticky's very good,
especially
for boss fights.
By accident.
Yeah.
Because in a boss fight, pretty much all of them have a weak point that you want to hit, so you can hit it real quick with the sticky grenades. If you're doing just bouncy ones, you'll never hit it. So it's very helpful for those. Causes a bit more damage really quickly than you can with. Otherwise, you have to make sure you're just trained on it with your regular gun all the time, which you also have to do because they take a lot of damage.
Yeah, the shotgun was interesting too, but I didn't like that it was like the spread gun. Like it was pretty short range.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, the weapons were real interesting.
Yeah,
the customization.
It's very cool that they all play very differently, and I think if you're playing co-op with 4 people, there'd be a lot more to kind of play around with it, because some of them, when you're by yourself, they're just not that useful.
Right.
You're going to die
Go
really
with something
quickly
that's
trying to use it.
fast, like the default weapon, like you were talking about. Something you can just fire and do a lot of damage with and just keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, the default weapon's pretty good for if you're playing by yourself.
I like the telefrag, too. I kind of stuck with that for a while, too, where after you die, you got a little bit of time to keep the backpack alive, which is an important part of the game, and then you teleport in and it clears a little bit of the enemies out, and that's pretty cool.
That is a good one.
I discovered that
I like to use a lot.
I can carry the backpack, and if I die, my friend can carry it, and that was kind of a little bit of a useful strategy.
Because usually what happens is I die a lot, and then it's like, oh, I need to
Stuck.
clear out everybody, and it's like I'm moving over here, and I'm like, here's a big bunch of them. Boom! All right, now we're good. Now I'm all right.
I'm telling you, though, you lose that ability because it's the same slot as that one. If you get the overshield, it helps a ton, because you have a shield that goes away, and then it starts going at your health after that's all gone.
Does the shield cover like all? It covers your whole guy.
It's all
right?
of you. It's like basically like a Halo shield or any game that has like that, where it like goes and they'll fill back up and be full. But if it goes all the way out, then your actual health goes away.
Yeah.
So it helps you stay alive a heck of a lot longer when you have that on.
Yeah.
If you're playing by yourself.
I didn't even notice that was the thing. A lot of times I'm just going, oh, that looks cool. It's like. I didn't even realize that.
And there's other good ones too, but that's the one that I kind of settled on, because it's like you can just take a lot more damage from if you're in the middle of the fray and things are shooting you and things. They'll just like dink off of your shield for a while, and then they'll recharge once you get out of combat for a few seconds.
Yeah.
The only thing I struggle with in the game is like using the jetpack. But like I said, I hadn't played in a while, and so when I got back on the side, I was like, oh yeah, that's it. You can boost and then kind of hover, boost again. Like,
the word jump is in the title on purpose, because if you're sitting on the ground, that's not the way you have. I'm jumping around and hovering and flying all the time.
Yeah, that's all I do. Is I'm very rarely on the ground.
Because you have all the bugs that like have their overhead slams. That if you just like fly over the top of them, you shoot them in the back, and they die a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And also, they can't hit you.
Yeah.
And then the jump jets are pretty generous. They have a lot of fuel before they go out. So if you know how to feather it, you can stay in the air quite a lot.
Yeah, and that, like you say, that.
And as soon as you touch the ground, boom, it's full again. So you jump right back off, and you're not on the ground for very long.
Yeah, I usually am not on the ground very long unless I forget. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm running around. No, wait, let me jump again. What am I doing? It's like I don't need to do that.
It kind of reminds me like a little bit of Dead Cells. That's the closest thing I can think of, like that I played recently, where it's really sort of kind of intense. Like you got a lot of action going on. But in Dead Cells, you can kind of like plan things. If you run into different enemies, can you retreat? And like Hive Jump, I'm like, keep pushing forward.
Hive Jump's a lot more frantic. There's a lot more coming at you.
Yeah, and it's not as precise of a game as that is, because there's no melee, so it's more shooting based. And there's not as much variety, because Dead Cells has a lot more weapons and stuff in it than this does. Even though it's just a different kind of game. But
I wish you had a melee. That would be kind of nice, because if you get stuck on the ground and you can just pop and then jump.
Melee, not useful. Not in this game.
I like a little melee. Just a little.
That means you're too close.
Well,
and then the bugs
you
are
have to shoot all the things and explode everything everywhere before it even gets to you. That's the kind of game it is.
Yeah. Anything else about gameplay or graphics that we wanted to talk about? I think we about covered everything on that I can think of.
I mean, you've got like the different stuff. So like it's the parts where it's like a roguelike is where you're going through get the like permanent collectibles, or you're like rescuing people.
Yeah.
Like scientists or a dog. I rescued a dog once in the little challenge rooms you go through. But those also help. The more of those you get, like every time you go through, every kind of like section of a hive that you go through has at least 2 or 3 doors that are challenge rooms that you can go into, and if you complete it, you get like a little treasure chest that usually gives you a lot of goo, and then it gives you one little upgradey thing, like relic, I think is what they're called. So it's like, this one is like, hey, you take less damage from melee attacks. This one you take less from, plasma damage. This one you can move faster. There's all sorts of just little buffs that you can get, and that also helps. The more of those you get, the more survivable you are.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm confused is I'm not sure if it's per run or if it's permanent. Like those, it doesn't really tell you that.
Yeah. That's,
But you can look them up in the main menu. There's like a little codex, and you can look at all the stuff that you've gotten so far.
Yeah.
And read more about it. Maybe it tells it in there. I haven't really dove deep into that part of it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I was going to ask you this. Does it work with one Joy-Con, or do you have to have both? Can you get away with playing with
I don't
one?
know.
I would say you'd have to have both because of the sticks.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I think you're right. I think you have to have both of them. I didn't even try it to see.
Sidebar: I did watch one of my friends play Smash last night with one Joy-Con. And I'm like, oh.
How'd he do?
He did okay. He's a lot better than I am, and I destroyed him because I had a pro controller.
Yeah,
but no, it's interesting. No, that's cool. That
I haven't played any of the other modes in Hive Jump. I've just played the campaign.
I played the campaign in the arcade, and that's it. And
that's all I've done. I've only played campaign. So
yeah.
And
there's like what, 4 different difficulties of campaign.
Yeah, that last one. I'm like, I'm not gonna touch that.
The easy one is still hard.
I was gonna say I haven't even got through the easy one. So I can only imagine what the medium and the hard is. Yeah, the
even it's just a time sink enough too. Of like, even if you're rushing through to try and get to find the door, it's all randomly generated. So, but you know that you have to go down. It's usually on the bottom of whatever section you are. So if you get all the way down there and find it and go quickly, it's still enough stuff to go through that it takes time before you work your way across the map for the campaign.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't want to say it's more fun co-op, but it's definitely. I like it better co-op. To me, it's good single player, but I'd almost prefer to at least have one more person. I haven't done 4, so I can only imagine how fun 4 is. One of these days we'll all have to pop on the PC and
yeah, give it a shot.
It was definitely designed.
I thought at least a couple of us played co-op on PC originally. I could have swore I
may have. It's been a little while ago, so.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't remember, and I haven't had games installed on this PC. So, if it was the last PC, and I haven't used it in at least a year or 2.
And you're afraid if you turn it on, it's going to, turn into a nuclear explosion.
No. I use it every day. It's still turning on. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. I thought it just couldn't do if you were like.
Can't handle streaming anymore. Yeah, it can't handle streaming anymore. And it can't handle high-end games. It could do anything from 360 PS3 down. Anything above that, it's,
turn down the heat.
Yeah,
the PC is generating 20 degrees.
Yeah, it's it's quite. It's got 2 graphics cards. It's got plenty of fans. It'll run cold. It's got plenty of fans in it. In fact, I don't even have the side on it right now.
It will run cold. Your room will not.
No, the room will not. But,
why am I sweating in the middle of winter?
That's fine. It's as cold as it is down here right now. Yeah, I turn it on just for heat, to warm the room. So
yeah.
But let's see.
I really like the music too in the game. I know you guys were talking about that.
That was exactly what I was just going to say.
Crank that up.
That
is good tunes.
I bought the soundtrack from Bandcamp. I think it's 49 tunes. It was on sale for $1.99 when the game launched. I don't know how much it is now. It may still be.
Now.
The music is definitely one of the best things about this game.
Yeah, that chiptune music, and if you saw the beginning of this, that was what was playing, was the loadout song. I think it was the one where you land and start out. It's like the first level song. That one gets stuck in my head. I've got it on my phone. I'll listen to it driving down the road. I'll just be like, "Oh, it's stuck in my head. Why am I sitting here humming it? Beep pop pop."
It's still $1.11.
Oh yeah, okay, but $1.11. Yeah. That's what I paid for it. $1.11 is a steal for
I'm gonna get it. I think I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
just to have it, while I'm driving or something, or maybe like in the office.
And like I said, there's like 49 songs on it, and it is an excellent. What was the name of the band? You got it pulled up there. It was
it is called Big Giant Circles.
Big Giant Circles. That's right. Yeah, I couldn't remember I knew it was Big something. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, when you download it, you can also include streaming by the Bandcamp app. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's how I use it on my cell phone. Is I got the Bandcamp app, and
it's pretty cool.
Then I downloaded it to the PC. Yeah, I don't know what other soundtracks they have done. There was a few on their Bandcamp page.
It's pretty cool. In Bandcamp, they also they got links to the game. You can buy it in the Steam store, and they also got links to Graphite Lab and Matt's Twitter too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the soundtrack is awesome, and the music in the game is great. The sound of the game is fine. It's just stuff going. It's not.
I'd give it more credit to that. The sound effects are really good, like just the way the different guns sound, and the different explosion-y sounds for when the backpack explodes or when you beam back in. All that stuff done pretty well.
Yeah,
it fits like the tone of the the art style, the music, and the sound effects all mesh together very well.
As much as I would like to see this on a Super NES cartridge just to play it on a Super NES. I don't know how you would do that without the dual sticks. It wouldn't work, but it would be really cool to see that on a
controls wise. Regardless, that doesn't matter. The game itself would not run.
No. But I mean, you could do a style of that game on. You could do a downgraded version on the Super NES.
It would be very downgraded. I think you would be surprised.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I would not.
Especially because this game relies a lot on the frame rate, so even if you put it on that, it's gonna chug it down.
And that's the one thing about this game; it's a super 60 frames a second. Period. I never saw it slow down or if it dropped, I never noticed.
I think in co-op it caps it some, but it runs pretty smoothly. Like if you're trying to run it all, just like firing the gun would have too many sprites on screen, it would slow it down. But great.
Yeah, I mean, even on the Switch in handheld mode, I never noticed any, and there would be a ton of stuff on the screen, and even when it would all blow up at one time, if something, it didn't slow down, and that always amazes me on the Switch, in handheld mode, how good some games will run like that. That was one of the things.
I mean, if you put your work in, it'll run fine because it's kind of the equivalent of a 360-ish. Just outputting to a small screen, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
especially like if you're doing pixel art and you can optimize it enough, then most stuff will probably run fine. If you don't bother to do that, then that's when it's not going to work well on the Switch. Or if it's just a weird game that has a weird engine that's doing something crazy that the Switch doesn't like. But
I wonder. And that was where Ryan would come in at. He played it on. I played it on Switch. We all played it on Switch and PC. Ryan actually played it on Xbox One. So I'd hope to get his opinion on, how
Xbox doesn't run fine. I would think it's just a weird port. I don't see why.
I was just curious how smooth it ran on that. I'll probably pick it up on Xbox too, and just hope for
give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Did we hear? Is there any plans for online co-op for Xbox One?
No, I asked Matt, and he said if people were interested in it, Eric did a review, and there's a link to the Nintendo Life thing on Twitter that they were kind of gauging games that aren't co-op now online that could be, and gauge what the interest is and tell them, so
I think it's gonna be like sales wise, if it sells a bunch and gets enough visibility that it would make sense that there's enough audience there for it, then they might do it. But being a tiny studio, they can't just go on put that in easy because they don't have the manpower for it, right? Because it's a big studio, they're like, hey, put 3 people on it, throw it in there, however many. And
it would be interesting to see the Steam in a couple months, see the sales numbers for the Xbox One and Switch version, and just see how it compares to the Wii U and the PC. And I would just be curious
if they had ever released, I wonder if the information. I tried to keep an eye on the download only portion of the Nintendo eShop just to see if it would pop that top 25 or whatever it is. I forget if it's 20 or 25 that they have, and I didn't hit it every day when it first come out to see because I was working, but I don't know if it ever.
Yeah, if it's not there on the first day, it's not going to be there on the Wii.
Yeah.
Not Wii. eShop. There we go.
The eShop. I knew what you meant.
The right words. They help, but sometimes they run away.
Well, and I tell you what sometimes really pushes a game for people to buy on the Switch is to put it on sale for a stupid price.
Like the number one is something
everybody
like 10 cents or something stupid.
There's a game. Well, there was one. It was like it was literally 10 cents.
It was like that.
Yeah, and it was the worst game on the eShop, but it was the number one selling game because it was so cheap, I bought one Friday for I think 49 cents. It was Robonauts or something like that, and I think it's what it was called. I think it was called Robonauts or something.
Yeah, the only problem with that is some of the problems with you won't make any profit.
Right.
2, people are going to assume your game is crap because why are you selling it for 49 cents on there?
Could be. I mean,
that's why I will never touch any of those there because I know why they're cheap.
Yeah, well, the reason the Robonauts game was cheap was because the second one was coming out. So they were trying to get buzz for the second one, so they dropped the first one down. I actually it had a demo, and I actually downloaded the demo and played it, and I went, you know what? This is an all right game for 50 cents. I'll pay 50 cents for it. So and then I paid 50 cents and enjoyed the game for 20 minutes or however long that I played it this weekend. So, I mean, sometimes you put it on sale for $5 or something like that just to get word of mouth out there. Sometimes that helps. But
I think most of the conversations that I've seen about things doing well on the eShop are, hey, this is a game that came out somewhere else. But it at least has some visibility from that, and when it came out on Switch, it sold way more on Switch, but part of that is because people know it exists. So like Hollow Knight already had enough of a buzz going around it to when it came out on Switch later, it's like, oh hey, this game's really good, guys, you should get it. And I really like that game, I'll buy it on Switch too. And there's a lot of games like that on the Switch where it was out somewhere else first and came there. Whereas if you haven't come out, or if you just didn't have any visibility before, then it's a lot harder to break through that now because there's just tons of stuff on the eShop versus like the first few months of the console.
And it is so hard to navigate the eShop, and it's getting harder every day. It's like,
well, they keep releasing tons of stuff on
it. I know.
So.
It's got to the point where the search engine is terrible. I was trying to search. I wanted to see if City Skylines was on sale or how much it was. I really wanted that game, and every time I would go into the physical search for it, I could not find it. And I think it was because I was leaving an S off. I was calling it City Skyline, and then I would just search city or cities, and it still wouldn't find it. And then finally I found it. I don't remember how I found it. I think I ended up going on the Nintendo eShop on the webpage and searching it and finding it, and then went, okay, it's not. But it's just, I don't know. They've got to do something with the eShop with the searching part of it. It's.
I just have a bunch of stuff put it in my wish list so that I can go in there and scroll down and see if anything's on sale.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. You were talking about exposure, games on other systems with Switch. That was one of the things that there was the developer of Cosmic Star Heroine. When it came out on the Switch, he expected it to do real good. Because it had been out on the Vita and the PlayStation 4 and did real good. And Nintendo, I don't know, he got on Twitter and kind of pitched a fit about how Nintendo really didn't help push the game and this and that, as far as they had a big indie thing and they didn't say anything about it and stuff like that. It's like,
so it's not their job.
Right, yeah, but it's like, it's sometimes
great, but that's going to be only so many that Nintendo can push versus the huge number that's on the eShop.
But there are so many games out there on the eShop that nobody knows, and then when it goes on sale, they're like, "Oh, well, it's this cheap because it's probably terrible."
Because it's terrible, I don't want to
play it. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I used to have that mentality. It was like, "Oh, look, such and such game just came out 3 weeks ago, and it's already half price. I must be. I'm not gonna." I kind of shed that mentality after a while. It's like,
it's not half price. If it's less than $1 on a platform where most things aren't even close to that, then you know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're just trying to get it. It's
But it's like, oh, okay, a normal percentage off, even up to like half off, is like, okay, they just dropped it to try and get enough people there to get some visibility. That makes sense. But if you're dropping it to like 10 cents,
I don't know
that's a good thing. And that has nothing to do with this game either.
No. Have you ever heard of Night Attack, the podcast Night Attack? They used to be the NSFW podcast. It's Justin Robert Young and Brian Brushwood. They do things like that all the time. Last week they released an album on everywhere: iTunes, Apple Music, or Amazon Music and Google Music, and they wanted to get it to #1 for one day. So they took this album and they put it $1.99 for the day it come out and spread the word, and it outsold everything, like A Star Is Born and everything. It was #1 for a day just because it was $1.99.
Well, I mean, some people.
Whether it was, I'm sure it was a fine album. It was a comedy album, so if you're into the kind of comedy, you'd probably enjoy it. But at the same time, it's
the comedy is like all it is an audio file that says, "Hey, can you believe this?" Nine.
You paid $2 for this. Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy. But anyway, to circle back to Hive Jump, now we went on our little tangent about everything on that. Recommend it? Yes? No?
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it.
2 thumbs. I highly recommend it. It doesn't matter what system you get it on, whatever you got available, buy it, play it, find somebody to co-op with.
Yeah, especially if you have some people who can do local co-op or got the PC version, do it online. Yeah. Then that's the way this game was designed. You can play it by yourself and get plenty of fun out of it too, but it was easily made for having people all shooting things at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can buy it to go along with your Smash Brothers, to play a bunch of Smash Brothers, and then say, "Hey, let's play this." It's still 4-player, and then we can go back to Smash. It's like,
there we go. It's a good idea. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Let's go smash some Hives for a bit, and then go back and smash some Nintendo characters in the face.
Yeah, I was really happy that it came out on Switch. I really was, because I wanted to play that game in a portable mode setting and play it well, and it works well on the
It definitely works very well as a handheld game, for sure. I think if you look at the trailer, just look at the type of game it is from screenshots and description, think it looks interesting, then you will probably enjoy it then.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, I think we've covered all the bases. I want to thank the guys at Graphite Labs for sending us codes so we could try this out. Special shout out to Matt, who we'd had on here, and I know Matt and Nathaniel, Matt's your friend, right? He's the one. Is Matt the one?
Yeah, we went to college together way back in the day, so that's how I know him from.
Yeah,
or where I know him from.
Very, very happy that they were able to do that for us, because it's very nice to be able to all play the same game and talk about it. And that's what I want to do every month, is be able to, for all of us to try the game out and play it. I know sometimes it's not feasible because Switch, especially on things on Switch, they go very fast. Luckily, Nathaniel's a PC player, and Eric's got a PC, and I've got a PC that'll run some stuff, so it's like, okay, yeah, we're good there. We got all the bases covered, because a lot of times it's easier to get PC than it is console.
It is, it's that platform people are like, oh.
Yeah, nobody
it's
plays.
Cool.
We don't want PC, we want console.
PC
no, it's more like PC, just like whatever, we can throw as many keys up there.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Switch is
it's very easy on. It's also very easy to keys on PC compared to the other ones, I would assume.
And
this is like how many you can get or whatever. Steam don't care.
Yeah, Steam don't care. Nintendo and Sony doesn't care about. For a company that cares about this and that, Sony doesn't care about review codes for some reason. It's weird. It's easy to get Xbox review codes because nobody picks Xbox to review on very often, so they're usually the ones. But Switch is usually the highest demand. So, my hope next month is our next game should be Wargroove, that comes out February 1st.
Sounded like we're in like 90% sure that's what
we're 90%. I'd say we're 90% sure. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. And if you've ever played Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance or the GameCube,
isn't it Chucklefish?
Yes,
or not
it is it's Chucklefish.
This is the one putting it out. That publisher, studio, whatever they are, something, one of the two.
Yeah, Chucklefish did it, and it looks very, very cool, and it should be fun. And I found out today that it is cross-play multiplayer. So if you're on Switch, you could play people on PC. If you're on PC, you could play people on Xbox or vice versa. The only thing that it's not co-op on is PlayStation 4.
That's because they're dragging their feet and only doing the huge popular games.
Yes.
And slowly putting out, and it's a beta, so that if you call it that, people can't complain about how slow you're doing it, right?
Exactly. So that's our next game, and if you happen to be an indie developer who's watching this and you want us to hit us up, and we'll be more than happy to play your game and review it. We try to do this once a month at the end of each month. Seems like a good time to do it, since we're only doing the podcast on the 1st and 3rd. This will give us a 4th week to do this. I think we're going to try to do a podcast next week. I know next week is the Super Bowl, so I don't know how interested everybody is in watching the Super Bowl. Which we could do it on Saturday. We could talk about this off air. I would be
interested.
But
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So if you like this kind of show where we just sit around and talk about one game, I do. This is something I've wanted to do for a while. I always thought it would be really, really cool to get us all to talk about the same game. We kind of do it on the podcast anyway, but we don't get to do it we do it in a very tight, confined. Yeah, we both played it. It was played really good, blah blah blah, and then we move on to something else. Where this time we can actually take our time and really dig into it a little more. Yeah, dive into it a little more. So, all right. Well, thanks guys for hanging out with us. This will be on the regular feed, so if you're listening to the podcast version of it, you're going to get it anyway, whether you want it or not, because it's coming out on that. So you can listen to it or you cannot listen to it. It's fine. It's fine. But all right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with us in the chat, and we'll talk to you all later.
All right.